what's good? How we living? Hope you guys are doing A-okay, as well as I am at least. Anyway, today's topic, consultation. Consultation. Jason, Decipher, Xavier here. Yeah, nothing too serious, nothing too convoluted. Really simple shit. Yeah, I just want to start offering some advice, answering some questions that you people have, and potentially just lending an ear to listen to, someone to talk to. Because I realize in this world, it's very difficult to be understood. Very, very difficult to be understood. Yeah, people wanna try painting you into a little box of expectations and of right and wrong and morals, and of course these things are valuable, ethics and such. But as an alchemist, I don't deal in right and wrong. I deal with intention and impact. I don't deal with positive and negative. I deal with intention and impact. In my opinion, all paths lead to one goal. That's God. All paths lead back to God. No matter which way you're going, you can go down the route of Dionysus, descending. You can take the route of Apollo and ascend. Whatever you do, you're gonna find yourself back at the center. Anyway, you know what I mean? No matter how many fucking rivers there are, that you'll meander and you'll shuck jive, dipping. You get the point. That you'll return back to the ocean at one point. One ocean, one cycle. Either way, we're gonna start off with one topic that my friend, my boy Jeff, he had some questions, he had some notes, like he was pondering. He asked for my take on what he put down, and really and truthfully, I think it'll be fun. Just trying to getting into the mind of different people. It answers a lot of questions for me as well, because sometimes I don't really, that dualistic mindset, I try not to think in dualism, but you have to think in a dual mindset, in a dual mindset, and kind of what's the word, bridge that gap to find that unity, connection. So it does have its uses, but for a man like me, I prefer not to think. I don't like to think at all. Thinking gives a lot of energy, hurts my brain. Point being, the question we're going to get into is, or the question he asked, is if my intention hasn't been realized by my actions, how else is she going to know? I imagine this is referring to, the art of courting a lady, if you will. The art of pulling the bitches, as the kids say these days. Either way, the way I described it is, it's the cycles of karma. Intentional impacts. Impactful intentions, maybe. The real question really and truthfully is, why do you want her to know? Why do you want her to know what your intentions are? Does her knowing about your intentions change the nature of them? Would you change how you express yourself? Your truth? Your authenticity? Because of her ignorance? Really and truthfully, your intention is to do with as you please, irrespective of external stimulation. So now the question becomes, what is my intention? You gotta ask yourself, why are you actually doing this? Why are you actually doing the things you want to do? Why am I acting this way? Why am I performing these actions? What is your intention? What's your end goal? What's your start goal? Everything in the middle, is it? It doesn't really matter what it is, but as long as you get that concrete, figure out your intention, then you can have confidence in taking steps in that intention, and confidence that you'll reach your destination once that intention is set. it's already realized. Once the intention is set, once you take that first step, as you take the action on your intentions, it becomes realized. It's only a matter of time. The only difference is the time period it takes to actually, get to that destination. You set your intention and you start taking actionable steps towards your destination using your intention as a confidence booster. And the way I describe it as well is success is the progressive realization of a worthy intention. Intention inspires action. Action determines the outcome. Outcome validates the method. Method decides the impact. And the impact informs the intention. Dubbed the cycles of karma. I'm fucking with it though, I can't lie. I like that one. I like that one. You got a little bit of Paris, So you have your intention. This inspires action, of course. This inspires, I want to get this goddamn tripod. I like this tripod. So you start taking actionable steps towards achieving that tripod. You start planning, maybe I should start budgeting my money. I'll buy it on the next paycheck. You start taking actions. Put it in your wish list, whatever. This action determines your outcome. Because obviously, a man who thinks all the time is nothing. It's nothing but thoughts, So you have a man who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts, if you will. So the point is, a plan without action is literally just a dream. It's just thoughts. So you need to apply some action. You need to take steps towards achieving that outcome. Your outcome of intention. The outcome validates the method. As they say, there's a method to the madness. And as you know, people will think you are fucking crazy until it works. I'm not going to say no one, but people will struggle to believe in intangibility and in words and in thoughts and in plans and in blueprints. They usually tend to want something tangible to hold on to relate to put their trust in, rather than, I guess, just your word, just your intention, just your actions even. So the outcome validates the method. The method dictates or decides the impact. The method decides the impact. So essentially, you have a method. People might be like, oh, that's a positive way to go about it. That's a negative way to go about it, which is fair enough. But at the end of the day, it's the impact. Fumbled up my words. But at the end of the day, it's the method that decides the impact, right? Your impact is either going to be a positive impact, a negative impact. And from that, people can, come to their own terms, they can infer, they can come to their own judgment about how that impact, how your method inspired, I guess, and decided that impact. Alright. Interesting. So you make a bowl of pancakes. You make the batter, you whip it up, you fry them up. Someone tries your pancakes, they say they're nice. I'm like, oh, what's the method behind that? What's the method behind that? These pancakes are nice because of the method that I have followed, essentially. That's what I'm trying to describe. Very hard to put into words, because I only use a little fucking connective. Anyway, and then the impact informs your intention. So before you even ascertain your desire, you're already thinking about the outcome. Or before you even attain your outcome, you're already thinking about the impact this outcome will have, right? You have an intention, and you believe this intention is going to result in some kind of impact. And this impact will inform your intention. It will inform your intention. Maybe it could be the other way around. Intention informs impact. Maybe not. However, I guess your intention would be to make the good pancakes. I have an intention. I want to make some dope pancakes. And your impact, the impact is the positivity or the quality of those informs, I guess, people from an outside view of what your intentions were. So they could eat pancakes and be like, I guess this man's goal was to make some good damn pancakes because they good as hell. Or they could be like, I guess his goal was to make some shit ass pancakes because they suck. And then, obviously everything in between two extremes. But yeah, that's why I dubbed the cycles of karma. I feel like I could have explained that better, but I'm fucking tired, man. I've been up for about 16 hours. 16 hours just thinking, mediating. But that's besides the point. I've got a lot of information. My brain is already fried in the morning. I was discussing with some of my friends about, different concepts, different ideologies, breaking down different videos, relating them to our experiences, and expanding upon what the deeper meaning of those, videos were. There was a good animation called The Box. I might post it in the description later on. And yeah, very reminiscent of Plato's Cave, The Matrix, those type of sensibilities. Yeah, it's really, I think it was a journey of like spiritual awakening. I say, that chosen one-esque, childlike curiosity, merriment and wonderment. It's like thinking outside the box in a society that wants to keep you caged in type thing, essentially. So my brain is really fried from that. Been up since 1 in the morning. Fuck. Anyway, that is the cycles of karma. And the next one I want to go into is the looking glass. I've dubbed this one Into the Looking Glass. The question that was asked was, or the statement that was made, I would say, is the environment is but his looking glass. And I responded, indeed it is. The looking glass is a mirror. The environment is the looking glass by which the observer observes himself. The Godhead, interesting concept, right? The Godhead does not recognize itself. Only the self, the Godhead, is real. Taken from Alan Watts, of course. One of the greatest masters of all time. Favorite teacher of mine. Good man. Good vibes. Very chill. Very chill. I aspire to be that chill one day. And composed. Me, I'm frantic as fuck. I call it autism, however. Anything outside of that Maya is illusion. To illude, illusion, rooted in Latin, lude, to play. To observe the Godhead would be to separate the Godhead from self, which is impossible because there is no separation. We're all connected fundamentally by just the nature of this universe, by the 4 fundamental elements, by the infinite chain of cause and effects which branched off and started off with source and resource. There is only one source, in my opinion, that's God. In everyone's opinion, technically it's God, but everything is just a resource, is repurposed source of that source. So by that default, the all is the all in all and the all in all. If you know what I mean, if you've read the Kabbalah and you understand the principle of mentalism, there's the all in one and the one in all, as of course source and resource. The source is a source of the resource. Another description you can look at it in nature is the ocean cycle. The ocean cycle. However, I don't believe in impossible, so the mystery deepens. Connection is indeed impossible to be separated from. So how would you observe the Godhead? Because it would need to be separate from the self. As Alan Watts said, the Godhead is never an object of its own knowledge. Just as a knife does not cut itself, fire does not burn itself. Light doesn't illuminate itself. It's always an endless mystery of itself. Though, I found that nature is a reflection of the Godhead. And a viewpoint, a looking glass by which you can actually observe oneself. Nature acting as the bridge between man and God. I dubbed it the nature is the mirror by which the Godhead inflects. You have a reflection in your mirror. An inflection is like an inflection of self, a reflection of internal rather than external. Because when you look at a mirror, you can only see what's on the outside. But when you inflect, now you're reflecting what's inside, the deep within. The Godhead inflects. The inflection of self, the reflection of God. The divine looking glass. Consciousness. Now we're getting somewhere. Think about that one. The consciousness is indeed the looking glass by which the self observes the Godhead, and the Godhead observes the self. The consciousness is the missing link between man and God. And where do we find other consciousnesses? In other human beings, other universes. Other people are reflections of ourselves and our environment. Everything is a reflection of God. In my opinion, nature is the most practical, tangible reflection of God, in my opinion. Interconnected nature of that divine order. On the outside, it looks chaotic, but on the inside, when you inflect, nature has its own set of rules, its own set of causes and effects, which fundamentally have a pattern. We are just unable to observe it, so it looks like chaos to us from the outside. It's the same with the consciousness. When we inflect on our own consciousness, sometimes we get stuck in little rabbit holes, lost in little thought traps and little pits, thought pits. You get stuck and you're just like, okay, maybe I'm beating myself up a little bit too much about so and so. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. However, when you reflect, when you're talking to other people, then you get a mirror of what you are, how you present yourself, reflected back from the other person, which is also an interesting way to, deepen knowledge about yourself, to figure out more about who you are. Yes. Conscious inflection and conscious reflection. Study of the self, study of other through the self. Interesting. Quite beautiful though, I think. I called it the divine looking glass, of course, because it is quite sacred, holy, Saw a magpie. You gotta show love to the magpies all the time, man. I love them niggas. I love them niggas, man. I love them niggas. And on to the next topic, we have the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger. Hold on, sorry, I'm just checking on my notes here. The conscious Godhead. Indeed. Yes. Before we go to cliffhanger, I want to finish up with the divine looking glass, right? The conscious Godhead is a concept, is a state of mind. I've not developed, but I've noticed, I've observed the conscious Godhead, where the Godhead is actually aware of its own. It actually recognizes and has knowledge of self. This is done by being obviously conscious and realizing consciousness is the mirror by which you identify your being, right? You inflect with your consciousness and you reflect with your consciousness. Everything in your environment is processed through your consciousness. Everything in your consciousness is processed through your consciousness, you know what I mean? There's only one way to observe self, which is to think. There is only one way to observe other, which is to think about other things and link them to things in your environment. And that's where you get to the state of the conscious Godhead, where you are attentive of everything and all, the interconnected nature of reality. All in the palm of your fucking brain. All in the palm of your brain. Anyway, on to the cliffhanger. Let me just find this in my notes first. Shit. What's the question? The question was, I believe, A man thinks he is able to fly. A bad friend pushes him. A bad friend pushes the friend. And give me a second, it'll come to me in like 1, 2, 3. A man thinks he can fly. A bad friend pushes him. A good friend holds his hand and jumps with him. It's an interesting concept of positive and negative as well. A dualistic mindset, which I don't blame, man. Shit, I still live in the dual as well. You know, we operate on a dualistic mentality, but I choose to intentionally think in that oneness, that interconnected unity consciousness, that Christ consciousness, if you will, the conscious Godhead, if you will. And I say it's a matter of perspective, as with everything. Once again, a case of intention. Inherently, there is no bad or good friend, just a friend who made a choice to intentionally prove the man's claim. Whether pushed out of spite, disbelief, or malice, or whether the good friend, jumping out of curiosity, belief, or love. There is no safety net. There is no actual ground to hit. All paths lead to the same hole, as I've mentioned. The only difference being the methods applied. Because as we said, what was it? Method decides impacts. Method decides outcome. I can't remember. Even though I just fucking said it like 3 seconds ago, but man, you can play that back. The art of no mind. I don't like to think and remember that. All paths lead to the same thing. The only difference being the methods applied. In my opinion, though, the worst thing you can do is not jump. A man has nothing to think about but thoughts. A man who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. You stagnate. You're not taking any action. You're not making any changes. You're just falling into an echo chamber of your own delusion, if you will. Delusion. Interesting word. I've been called deluded quite recently. A lot more often recently. Deluded. Delusion. You're delusional. One of those things don't make sense. I've been called delusional quite a lot even today. One of my good friends, my brother. I don't know what to make of that, but I'll show you an example. Delusion. De-illusion. You break down the words using etymology. Declassify, decrease, detain. You are taking away. Illusion. Delusion. De-illusion. No longer living in reality. De-illusion. Or no longer living in the illusion. You're taking away the illusion. Continuously living in reality. However, it's an interesting one because you see the way I played with the words there. Illusion, elude, rooted in Latin, to play. Delusion. Hey, you see where you get the point. Anyway. However, the man who does not jump is paralyzed by fear, and he may as well jump, for he's already dead. Stagnation is death. You do not change. And knowledge is constant flux. Life is ever changing. It does not stop. It just goes. Decays. Rebirths and goes. It all gets repurposed. It's all a nice little fluctuating up and down, peak and trough movement, but it's never stagnant. If you're stagnant, you are dead. Not to say death is a bad thing. Destruction is indeed the breeding grounds of creation. Death is indeed the seed of all life. I made another video on that. What did I call it? I didn't get the damn donuts. Yeah. I didn't get the damn donuts. Check that one out. And like, comment, subscribe. Sorry for the shoddy vocals. Fucking drained, bro. Man's exhausted out here. However, the brain's still ticking. And yeah, check in the description. I got all my details in there. If you want a 15-minute free personal consultation, nothing too crazy. Fucking talk to the guy, talk to it, drop some answers. You have some questions, see if I can answer them. Offer some motivation, inspiration. Maybe just make your day a little bit better. Because you know how one thing could just, one little minor inconvenience could just ruin your whole day. 15 minutes of some good positivity might even just change your whole life. You never know. You never know. Free of charge, by the way. Just like donations are accepted, but 15 minutes, 15 minutes, I don't think you should charge for, truth. The truth shouldn't be paid for. I think the truth should just be, let those who have ears to hear listen type deal. My boy JC. Though money is nice, I do like me some money. That's another resource. Powerful conduit, opens many doors and bridges the gaps between so many things and has so many potentials. So much potentials. You can invest that into many things. Many things. So if you'd like to support my creative ministry, I'm building somewhat of an empire of like-minded individuals where I can have these discussions without being deemed as crazy, without being deemed as deluded, without fear, without shame, without guilt. And that's what I'm trying to offer to you people, a space where you can be truthful to your actual identity, to be yourself, to be authentic, liberate yourself from the mind, from the ego mind, from the pain of consciousness, because it goes both ways. I'll say that much. It goes both ways, and you have to be in that constant state of flux, going through pain, suffering, pleasure, happiness type deal. And really, neutrality is the way to go, in my opinion. And it's difficult. It is difficult, to be honest. It is difficult because a lot of people want to put their own interpretations. They want to put their own expectations. I guess they really and truthfully, they just want to be right. They just want to be right. But in my opinion, I strive for truth. I strive for comprehension, connection, understanding, truth. I said that twice. Liberation, authenticity, and expression. That's all I stand for, man. That's all I stand for. I don't care what it is, and I don't care who you are. Opinions are opinions. They're not rooted in fact. So there's no point shitting on opinions because they're not rooted in fact. They're just someone's interpretation. But you can build on these opinions and actually, figure out if they are fact or not. I hate arguments, man. I'm just not here for the arguments. I'm tired of the fighting. I just want to get into debates, I want to get into philosophical conversations. I want to just expand people's minds. But yeah, people are stuck in their own ways, People have concerns, responsibilities, and obligations which take away from, in my opinion, the reality of truth, which is God. And I've been advised to keep your eyes focused on what you cannot see. When your two eyes are closed, can you still see clearly? No, I can't because my two eyes are fucking. Anyway, I'll see y'all niggas later. Oh, numb legs, my kneecaps are breaking.